Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So the clock is ticking. Recently, Donald Trump announced that it's coming up in a few days that he slapped 50% tariffs on India. At first, it was 25% because he says that India is charging too much for the trade with America. And then he slapped an additional 25% for India trading with Russia, buying Russian oil. So combined and for a 50% tariffs on India. So this threat is just days away from taking effect. And in a move, you know, everyone saw this coming. I don't know if no one saw this coming or if anyone's surprised about this, but China and India, these two countries were two historic rivals. China and India never liked each other. They even, you know, these two countries even had a war, all right? And suddenly these two countries now are talking about cooperation. Now, you may be asking yourself, who cares? Why, you know, if China's cooperating with India, why should I care? Well, because if these two giants stand shoulder to shoulder, the global balance of power can shift and shift fast. So the question is going to be, how good is your Mandarin? Because that's one of the languages that you're going to have, we may have to learn. So for a very long time, these two guys are competitors, right? Not allies. So if you, I don't know if you guys knew this, but in 1962, there was a violent clash. A violent clash has popped up between between India and China. And even a few years ago, something recently popped up between two nations, you know, between these two countries. So there's always been friction there because these two countries, they both see themselves as leaders of Asia. And China sees India as an obstacle for its domination of Asia, and India sees China as the same. But history is changing, all right? And because these two now they see that, you know, their economics are dire. So now because of it, and they're coming together, Trump's looming tariffs deadline has cast a shadow over the trade of global trade, basically. I mean, Trump is going around putting tariffs on everybody, Brazil, like you name it. Everybody's getting tariffs. So also, too, just recently, Trump just threatened Chinese with 50% tariffs on Chinese goods. All right. And that would really hurt Beijing's economy. And these announcements and these kind of things just sending ripples effect everywhere. So now both China and India are starting to rethink their strategies. They're like, hey, listen, man, we know we've been rivals, like enemy of my enemy kind of thing, right? So they're friends. If they're saying if America is going to close its doors and not want to trade and put tariffs on everyone, Asia may need to open its own. I mean, these two guys, and it's not just China, India. A lot of the South Asian countries, a lot of these guys now are coming together, and it's gonna have an effect. I mean, China and India, I mean, and Russia, all these guys are coming together, all of them. And I don't know, man. And the thing is, you see, India wants to build its manufacturing muscle, and China has the factories and investment to make that happen. Both countries import tons, and I mean a crap load of oil and gas, and you know, and they have a huge dependence on that, right? And also too, and so they looking at the tariffs and how is the tariffs going to impact their economies. Both countries also import a lot of oil and gas from Russia. And I think part of Trump, because they war in Ukraine, part of it is that Trump wants to discourage these countries from buying Russian oil, basically separate India from Russia. And India already said, listen, this is not going to happen. We're not going to abandon Russia. And while you at it as well, they also calling for reform for the IMF and the World Bank, and, you know, positioning themselves as leaders of the global South. Now, old enemies, yes, but now potential partners. In Beijing, leaders spoke of Asian solidarity in certain times, and New Delhi talked of regional cooperation and standing firm against global shocks. They never really actually mentioned that, they never directly named America, but we all know what they talk. We all know who they're talking about. I mean, the message is crystal clear. Recently, Donald Trump posted this on his Truth Social. Let me go ahead and grab that for you guys. So this is Donald Trump's recent Truth Social, where he says he's talking about India. He says, "I don't care what India does with Russia. They can take their dead economies down together. For all I care, we have done very little business with India. Their tariffs are too high, among the highest in the world." And so, um, yeah. So this is his. This is how Trump feels about China. He calls India. I mean, India did not like that. So he calls India's economy a dead economy. And India did not take that too lightly. And so let's take a look at the IMF recently just updated their outlook on the IMF just updated the outlook on India. And here's what they're saying. All right. The IMF the International Monetary Fund has recently revised its growth forecast for India, projecting a 6.4% growth for both 2025 and 2026. This is an upward revision from the 6.2 and 6.3 projected back in 2025 and 2026, respectively. And the April 2025 World Economic Outlook report, the IMF latest projection positioned India as the fastest growing major economy globally. India's growth is expected to significantly outpace other major economies, including the U.S., projected at 1.9 to 2% in 2025, 1.9 in 2025, and 2% in 2026. And China's forecast to grow 4.8 and 4.2 respectively. So as you guys see, this latest IMF report makes India the fastest growing major economy in the world. Exactly the kind of momentum that gives New Delhi leverage on the world stage. For China, the economy is slowing down a little bit. And then, you couple that with Trump's tariffs, this makes sense for China and India to cooperate with each other. And this cooperation is not just symbolic, but it is about survival. So here we are. Trump's tariffs wall is pushing two old enemies in the same corner. China, the world's manufacturing titan, India, the world's fastest growing economy. I mean, guys, what can possibly go wrong here? Together, they are sending a loud message. All right. So if a market turns inward, Asia's not going to wait. They're not going to wait anymore. All right. So they're done with the era of America telling them what to do. And Donald Trump, this whole tariff thing is so stupid. Our whole thing was to keep China and India apart. Exploit the division and their historic differences. China wants to be number one, India wants to be number one. We exploited that. Now this whole tariff thing is bringing these two guys together. All right. Now the question is this just a temporary convenience thing, or just the start of a new Asia power bloc that can reshape the world for decades? So let me ask you this. Is this just, what do you guys think? Let me know. So is this partnership built to last, or just two rivals holding hands until the storm passes? Do you think if Donald Trump leaves office in another 3 years or so, do you think things would go back where India and China would now become old rivals again? I don't know. So drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Let me know what you guys think. That is going to be all for today, guys. If please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. That will help me out a lot. And then I will see you soon. Take care.